This is video number 2 in the series about Christianity and LGBTQ issues. This video will talk about the translations of the Bible and ways people may interpret the Bible. According to Daniel Helminiak, author of What the Bible Really Says About Homosexuality, there are two approaches to reading the Bible, the literal reading and the historical critical reading. The literal reading takes the text for what it says. It does not interpret the text, but reads it as it stands. The historical critical reading is more complicated and is centered around understanding the text in its original situation and then applying that meaning to the present situation using critical thinking. This book gives an example to further explain the approaches. For a literal reader, the story of creation in Genesis says that the world was created in 7 days. Therefore, it truly must have been created in 7 days. For a historical critical reader, the 7 days could mean something else. They could be metaphorical for a different amount of time, or simply mean that God took his time and carefully created the world. This approach could also take into account science that believes the world was formed over millions of years. It does not discount the Bible, but it does look at the information available and tries to come to a conclusion based on that. So the stance that Christians take about homosexuality should largely be based on their approach to reading the Bible. Literal readers would most likely believe homosexuality is wrong, because the Bible seems to say so in several verses, while historical critical readers would have much more to take into account before taking a stance, like the time period versus context and other themes in the verse. According to Mona West, author of Reading the Bible as Queer Americans, Social Location, and Hebrew Scriptures, there are several perspectives that queer people often use to interpret the Bible themselves. These include a defensive approach, offensive approach, and outing the Bible approach. These three approaches focus on countering the passages commonly referred to as clobber passages and highlighting passages that are same-sex affirming. Historical critical readers and literal readers alike also must acknowledge that the Bible was not originally written in their language, unless their language is Hebrew. That was then translated into Greek, then other languages from there. And it is very important to think about how some words cannot be easily translated from one language to another. Then consider how many times the Bible has been translated from one language to another, and how many versions of the Bible there are. Which version is the most correct? It's hard to know which is the most accurate and has had the least meanings altered or completely changed from what they were in the beginning, but it is something everyone should keep in mind.